Hi, I'm Kim O'Brien, otherwise known as @Dahlia Farmerama, gardener, podcaster, stage presenter, dahlia grower and florist. Congratulations for landing on the Live for 5 podcast, affectionately named for its rapid-fire 5-minute question round that reveals the innermost workings of my esteemed gardening guests. Join us as we uncover the steps they've taken up to this point in their gardening career and hear what ventures they have in store for the future. So, without any further ado, let's go Live for 5. Welcome to Live for 5 on this wonderful Thursday evening. I hope everyone is well. Hope we've all had a good day. What's it been like where you are? It's been really foggy, really dense fog here in Cambridgeshire today. Never really got light. It was just pretty misty for most of the day. Just give a few people time to join. Oh, Lindy Lupatrons is here. Lovely to see you, Linda. Thanks for joining. Hi, Jamie. Nice to see you. Eric's here. A few other people are joining as well. Haven't got my glasses on. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'll try and do my best with the comments and see who's joining. But yeah, my vision's not great at the moment. Hope we've all had a great day. I've had a great day. I've had a long day. Got up super early this morning. Oh, thanks, Linda. It's lovely to see you too. I hope you've had a good day. I hope you've had lots of fun. What have you been up to? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what have you all been doing? Have you had a good one? What have you been up to in the garden? Have you all got your spring bulbs in yet? I thought I had my spring bulbs in and then I found a load more. And then, believe it or not, a lovely lady at work today offered me lots more. And I had to very politely decline and say, no, I think I'm all right for spring bulbs now. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you, but I think I'll stick with the 500 that I've got. I think I'm all right. So yeah, but let me know what you're up to. So Eleanor Rose Bloom says you've had beautiful sunshine in Cheshire. Lucky you in Cheshire. So nice. I know it was nice where John the Bee Gardener's been because he messaged me to taunt me this morning as well, telling me how lovely it was in Wales. Jamie's been watching rubbish daytime TV. Oh, sorry about that, Jamie. Poor you. Oh, well, what's the weather been like though? Have you been able to look out the window? Surely it's been better than the weather here. Linda says, you've been in the office today. Oh, comments are moving a bit quick. Fundraising committee meeting this afternoon. Oh, fundraising for Green Fingers charity, no doubt. If you haven't heard of Green Fingers charity, look them up. They're a fantastic charity doing lots of wonderful fundraising work for children's hospices and building gardens for children's hospices. Really worthwhile. Go and have a look at them. Hi, John, the bee gardener. So John is my guest. Nick at Cauliflowers is here today. Hi, Nick. Nice to see you. I'm going to mention you later, so stay tuned. Karen Lily Kay says, I've bought Gold Crown and French Can. Not grown them before. Okay, interesting. That's good. Gardener Riddler joined. So Gold Crown and French Can. What are they? Are they tulips? Gold Crown. I think Gold Crown is a tulip, isn't it? So French Can, I'm guessing is. Nick says bright and sunny here today, but cold. Day job earlier, packing seeds and listening to. Come on, Nick. Don't leave us in the lurch. What have you been listening to? Jamie's still a bit sore, but not too bad. I'm glad you're on the mend, Jamie, at long last. Oh, dahlias, okay. Oh, right, okay, because I know Gold Crown is a tulip as well. Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad so you're ordering your dahlias. That's good to know. Where have you ordered your dahlias from? It's exciting, isn't it, when the dahlia orders open? Very exciting. And then you've got the whole storing them. Oh my goodness. I had a big panic, I've got to say, about storing dahlias. We won't go into that because I'm going to get my guest in, otherwise I'll just go off on a tangent and talk about dahlias for half an hour. He is here, let's get him in. So I'm going to invite him in. Right, let me see, how do I get him in? Oh, you got them from the local garden centre. Okay, that's nice. Yes, I had a message from my local garden centre. Hi, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice to see you. Yeah, it's going well. How's it going for you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. We had a good day?
Yeah, it's been another, not to rub it in, but lovely, bright, sunny day again here. So we're making the most of it because we don't get a load of those up on a mountain. So yeah, it's been great.
That's true. I'll let you off, actually. Yeah, you do have to make the most of them, don't
Yeah.
you? So I'll forgive you for messaging me this morning and
It did look a bit
taunting me.
miserable where you were, because you were on the radio, I think you said this morning as well, right?
That's true, yeah. I was up at the crack of silly o'clock this morning to be on the radio, and it was just like ridiculously misty, and we were just like, when is this mist going to lift? And then it just didn't. So
Oh, it's been like that all day.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, for once, the weather up north is better than in the south, so yeah.
For once.
I'm not going to be too smug.
Oh, that'll make a change.
Indeed.
No, it was nice. I loved the photo that you sent me, and yeah, I was going to talk about this. So I'll just introduce you. So welcome to Live for Five. You have been on Live for Five before. You have been my guest. I said I'd have you back.
I was your second ever guest, I think, after Jenny.
That's right. Right, you wouldn't let me forget that you were my second and not my first.
Well, I think I'm the first one who's come back, though. Maybe, I don't know.
No, you're not. You're my second. You're my second that's come back.
Well, I guess second is, better than third. So
this is true. So Mark Gardner Riddler was my second. No, my first to come back second, and you're my second to come back second.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're obviously just second.
Maybe me and Mark are just a bit crazy.
But you know what they say, first the worst, second the best. So that makes you the best, John. What can I say?
Yeah.
If I got out of it that way.
I'm sure Mark will disagree. I can see him in the chat as well.
Oh, so well, it's really lovely to have you on, first or second.
Thanks for having me back.
That's okay. Okay, thanks for coming back. Thanks for agreeing to come on at reasonably short notice. It's just my total lack of organisation.
It was a bit short.
Yeah, not as short notice as Mark had last week. I think he had about 20 minutes notice last week.
Okay, yeah. No, you at least asked me this morning.
Exactly. So. At least you had a few hours.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, this is John, the bee gardener. And John, just to give a bit of background about John, so you are the bee gardener because you're a beekeeper, but you garden with pollinators in mind as well.
Yeah,
and you quite like your sort of tropical type plants, like your bananas and your bamboos and that kind of sort of vibe in your garden, don't you, as well?
Yeah, partly. I mean, they're not very good for, ironically, for pollinators. They're a bit sterile, I guess is the right word. But yeah, that's one kind of style. The other one is kind of like cottage meets prairie, I would say. Lots of herbaceous.
That's right. That's how you were described in Amateur Gardening magazine, wasn't it? Cottage meets prairie.
Yeah, probably. I don't mean to sound big-headed. I've forgotten.
So probably about it. That's how you were described. I'm telling you, that's how you were described.
Well, I've forgotten what magazine said what now. I'm honest, Kim.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, in Amateur Gardening magazine, that's how you were described.
Okay.
I distinctly remember reading that article about you.
Great. Well, that's a good way to be described. I think people have described me much worse. So.
This is true. So you were previously at Willoughbridge in Shropshire.
Yes.
And
the first time I came on, we just moved, I think, because we were at our rental.
That's right.
Yeah, because I remember sitting out in the corridor. Well, so Sarah didn't have to listen to me. Yeah, so yeah, we were in Willoughbridge in Shropshire, so a little tiny cottage with a 13 metre by 8 metre, I think, garden, which was very full, as you saw. It was packed full of lots of plants.
It was. I had the pleasure of coming to visit, and it was an absolute delight because, like you say, it was packed, which is how I love a garden to be. There was not an inch that you hadn't given thought to. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, even like the wood store and the bin shelter had a garden on top of it. Everything that could have been planted or had plants going up it, like walls and fences and stuff, did. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And just remind me, how long had you been at Willoughbridge?
10 years. Yeah.
Okay, so you'd had a fair amount of time to work on your act.
I had. The first couple of years I rented it, actually. So most of the all the jungle garden was in pots. So like the bananas, the tree fern. Hi everyone! I can see people commenting. My dad's there as well.
Oh, hi, John's dad.
Yeah, Andrew's cottage. Hey guys, Andy and Joe. Yeah, so all that was in pots, and the jungle garden grew from that because I was renting. I didn't want to put too much stuff in the ground.
Yeah.
And actually, the stuff I did put in the ground, I sunk in pots and thought I'd planted them all out eventually. But every now and again, I come across a plant still in a plastic pot somewhere in the ground. Yeah, so it was 10 years, but I reckon probably that main back bit of the garden that you saw, we dug up during COVID. Like, we dug the lawn up, and the greenhouse came just after lockdown, so all of that stuff was quite recent.
Yeah. And am I right in thinking you left that greenhouse?
I did.
Yeah. Was that quite hard to do?
It was, but I think it kind of belonged there. It fit really well. It matched the house really nicely. And at one point we were selling to somebody who wasn't a gardener, and they were going to get rid of the greenhouse, and that made me really sad. And in fact, I think we were going to take it with us then, because I'd rather take it with me than someone not use it. But the person who bought it in the end, they're a really keen gardener and still send me updates now about what they're growing in the greenhouse and stuff. So that's really nice. Yeah.
Oh, how lovely! Oh,
yeah.
That's good. So, do you know what's in there right now?
Not right now. No. Funnily enough, it's funny where the world turns out. It's my boss who bought my house at work. So we should be chatting about work stuff occasionally, and we'll be chatting about gardening instead, because we both obviously enjoy doing that. Yeah. So I know last year he grew chilies and tomatoes and all the kind of traditional sort of greenhousey stuff. I haven't seen him yet this year, so we haven't spoke about it, but I'm sure he'll be full of seeds and stuff soon.
Oh, how lovely. That's so nice that you'll get those updates.
Yeah.
And that you see that it's been used well. And
yeah. And he's also very kindly taken some cuttings from some of the roses that I didn't dig up, so that's good of him as well.
Oh, and what about the rose that was in your front garden that was really, really fragrant?
I haven't asked him about that one yet. I should do, because everyone always commented on that on the garden openings.
Yes.
And he was planted before I moved in, and I didn't know the name or the variety, but it was, the really small flowers that were so fragrant.
Thunder rose, wasn't it?
It was really nice.
Yeah. I just remember this rose, for people who are listening, there was this rose, and when I pulled up in my car, the moment I got out of my car, the first thing I was hit by was this fragrance of roses, and I just smelled it before I could see it, and it was just amazing. And then and I saw it, and then I didn't say anything to John about it, but then when we were talking in the back garden, you mentioned the rose in the front garden, and I said, oh yes, I smelled that. It's incredibly fragrant.
Yeah, and when you came, it was quite a bad day weather-wise.
It was raining,
so it wasn't even that warm, but you could still smell it. So that showed a lot, I think.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, you definitely need to get some cuttings of that. If you do, and you get a spare one, I'll have some.
Yeah. I do, Kim, you're right.
I'll put my order in, thank you.
I'm still waiting for my dahlias for this new garden.
Well, I will give you dahlias. You know what? I'm on it. You'll get loads from me this year.
Right, so long as you're not doing a show garden. That's, I think, what ruined the plans last year.
Well, there's no promises, but because this time last year I wasn't doing one, and then look what happened. So I ended up doing one and helping with one. So
yeah,
we'll see. Never say never. So you moved from Willoughbridge, and then you're now in, and I hope I pronounced this right. Is it Ty Bryn? Ty Bryn?
not far off. Ty Bryn.
Oh, Ty Bryn.
Yeah, so it translators, well, translation, so it's Welsh, is House on the Hill, which is very apt.
It is, yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, we moved nearly a year ago now, actually, which is scary how quickly that time has gone.
It has gone fast, hasn't it?
9th of Feb last year. So it's been a crazy nearly 12 months.
You've achieved a lot in 12 months. Because when I hear you say that it's 12 months, part of me thinks, oh my gosh, it feels like you've just moved there. Yeah. But also when you look at how much you and Sarah have accomplished in terms of the rebuild, you've done so much.
We have. We have, yeah. It's very easy to forget that when you see it every day, and you know the list of things still to do is huge. So, yeah, I mean the room we're sat in now didn't look like this when we bought it. In fact, you had to paint some of this, Kim. So, yeah.
I'm gonna take all the credit. You can. I painted John's room.
You can, but yeah, it's been we've had to do so much. Like every room, pretty much, we've had to take back to brick and start again. And we've just started on the other side of the house, which I'm sure some people might have seen from the weekend, which I've just about recovered from because I was so exhausted at the start of the week from that. But yeah, it's good. We've had a structural surveyor in today to give us some designs for knocking the kitchen and dining room into one room. So that's exciting. But also lots of work to come.
Yeah, that's going to look fantastic when you get that done, though. That's going to be an amazing area.
It is, yeah, it is. I just at some point want to, like today and yesterday, it's felt, and I said in one of my videos yesterday, I don't want to get carried away because I think as gardeners we're very guilty of, oh, it's sunny, must be spring, let's go and do stuff, but it is still January. But last couple of days has felt very, very spring-like in the sunshine, I have to say. So I'm itching to get outside as well now.
Oh, yeah. Really? So I've been the complete opposite this year. It's really funny. I think this is the first year in a long time that I've actually thought, no, it's winter, and I'm really wanting to sort of hunker down.
Yeah.
And I'm watching with interest people on Instagram. And I think there's a lot of, and I'm guilty of this myself, and this isn't a criticism, it's just an observation. I think in the interest of wanting to be the first person to do stuff or wanting to be the first person to show things, sometimes people are eager to show things and do things. And they kind of put the information out there first, which means that everyone is sort of doing it earlier and earlier and earlier every year. And every year things get earlier. And it's almost like we're not having a winter and the seeds sowing. People are on about, oh, we've got to sow seeds. And it's like, what is January? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? What happened to waiting until the end of March and April to sow seeds? You know, it's winter.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened to allowing this season? It's just such a strange thing, but for me, and normally I would get caught up in this. I would be like, yeah, let's go. And this year I'm just kind of like, no, I'm just letting it just sweep over me. I'm just letting it pass me, and I'm just like, no, I'm just going to wait. But it's an individual thing. That's just me, and there's no judgment on anybody. If you want to go for it. Yeah. But that's just me.
It is. I mean, I used to do like the autumn sown sweet peas and loads of other stuff that obviously then had to be overwintered in the greenhouse. And I remember one year we went away, and my uncle, I think, was looking after it because this is 20 years ago. I asked him to turn the paraffin heater on at night because it was quite cold then. It was like -5 that winter, but they all died. And I just thought after that, I'm not doing any seed sowing now until March.
Or they all get eaten by mice, or
so much. Yeah, and obviously then your sweet peas are a bit later on in the season, but then those early ones have gone by then, so you've got a bit of late smash.
Exactly. They all catch up in the end.
Yeah, and I think as well for me, and maybe this is why you haven't done it this year. And last year for me, I didn't do a lot of gardening because I was doing the house. But normally, especially if I used to, because we used to open the other garden for the garden opening, that was such a big effort to do that for National Garden Scheme.
Mm.
By that, I'd had enough of gardens for a bit. So winter for me then was like, I'll think about it and I'll plan things in my head and I'll do some reading, but I'm not doing any gardening. And it was like a really nice break of just being in winter and sort of hibernation mode, really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it's a refreshment, isn't it? And it's a chance to recharge, and it's a chance to kind of nourish yourself with rest and also with information. You can, like you say, you can do your reading
yeah,
and take that information and then just like nourish yourself
yeah,
and plan. And it's that enjoyment of planning things and not rush to be doing, because
yeah,
we are human beings, not always human doings.
indeed.
So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's up to people, right? For me, I could never stand. I did used to do this. I was guilty of like sowing seeds on the windowsill, but again, after a while, it used to drive me mad because it's messy and it takes over your house if you let it. Which
yeah, and
horrible.
then it's pricking out, and then you've got to pop them on, and then you've got so many, and then you've only got so much windowsill and so
Yeah,
much greenhouse space.
yeah. I mean, my granddad used to do that with tomatoes, I remember now, and his used to go insane in the end. But that was the only kind of space he had. So if that's the only space you've got, then I think that's fair enough.
Yeah,
But for me,
exactly.
it's a bit too much faff. And like I say, I just want that rest, that time. It's a good time for reflection as well, and things like what worked well this year, what didn't, what are my plans
Yeah.
for this year ahead. Yeah. So I won't be sowing any seeds for a while yet, Kim.
Yeah.
I have to though, because I saw you were mentioning about spring bulbs. I was going to do it this evening, but then work got in the way before it went dark, which is annoying. I have a lot of alliums and tulips I'm going to plant out this weekend, and it'll be done.
Yeah, get on it. It's now is the
Yeah,
time. Now
yeah.
is the time. It's not too late,
No,
but
I've
we're
done
sort
it
of on the
before.
cusp.
I haven't done it quite this late. A couple of years ago, I did a load of tulips between Christmas and New Year, which I quite enjoyed, and the tulips you wouldn't have noticed; they were fine. So
I sowed my alliums and tulips at the beginning of February last year, and
mhm.
they were late. They were maybe about a fortnight later than everybody
Yeah,
else's, but
yeah,
it was actually fine, because I sort of saw everybody's on Instagram, and then by the time everyone's were going over, I was sort of smugly enjoying mine
yeah,
still. So it was okay. I felt like I'd had an extended season. It was quite nice.
yeah. It is, and that's. I find it interesting on Instagram to watch that as well, because obviously there's people. I see Lena's watching, so she's in Sweden. There's people all over the world, and it's really interesting to see how things grow. And even, you know, you and I aren't a million miles from each other, but the climate is very
Yeah,
different. And I find that really interesting, just seeing how everyone else's stuff's growing compared to here, and how,
definitely.
because we're a bit higher up, we're a bit behind everyone else. Like, I don't think last year, I think the bluebells came out sort of mid-May, whereas like obviously further south and in warmer areas, they were out much sooner.
Yeah, that regional variation is really interesting to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're right that the nice thing about Instagram is you get to see it all, and then if it happens in your garden, either sooner or after everyone else, it extends that a lot more, which is nice.
Yeah, definitely. That is a real plus about Instagram. It's quite lovely.
Yeah,
So that, coupled with the people planting early and people planting late, it does extend
yeah,
everything. So
yeah, and you see, I follow a garden in New Zealand, and obviously they're in their summertime now.
yes,
So that's really nice to see, and quite weird in some ways that it's snowing here and they're in their peak of summer almost. Yeah, it's quite cool. That's Fisherman's Bay Garden, which is very beautiful.
yeah. My friend Helen Blake, she's in New Zealand as well, and she's absolutely mad on
Hmm.
dahlias. So it's nice because just as I'm digging up my dahlias every year, she's just planting hers out,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So we kind of keep each other going. We're kind of the opposite of each other. So
Yeah.
we sort of, yeah, keep that cycle going for each other. So it's nice to
Mm.
see hers like through the winter. So she'll send me lots of pictures will tag me in pictures of her. She's got lots of cafe au lait in bloom at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah, it's lovely to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Right, would you like to do the live for 5?
Sure. You got your timer.
I've got a broken, it's still broken.
I wasn't sure if you'd have retired that by now.
I
Well,
feel like I can't. I feel
Sam,
too emotionally
put you a new
attached to
one.
it.
Because yeah, buzzer doesn't work, right?
The buzzer doesn't work. It just kind of clicks at
Mm.
me, or it sort of ticks at me for 5 minutes and then stops. So
Mm.
I'll notice when it stops ticking.
Okay.
Okay, we've got 5 minutes. Are you ready?
I guess, yeah. I don't know what to
Right.
expect as always, but
Face your fears, John. Okay, here we go. Favourite season and why?
all these are always really tricky. I think it probably spring because everything's so fresh, and I love that. And we've been on a walk today and seen the buds ready to, well, they're getting ready to, they're bulking up. I love that fresh acid green everywhere. Everything, and that promise of a new year ahead is really nice.
Yellow flowers, yes or no?
Yes in spring, no everywhere else.
Okay. What's your ultimate karaoke anthem?
So that would be Foundations by Kate Nash.
Okay. And are you a good singer?
No. In my head I am. Voice of an angel in my head, but no.
Something happens between here and here, yeah.
Sad for everybody.
If you could save one material thing from a fire in your house, what would you save?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm trying to think of all the stuff we've got. We haven't even packed most of the stuff yet because we're still sort of doing rooms up. I think I'm looking on my shelf. I've got a book that was my great granddad's gardening encyclopedia from like the 1950s. So if I could save that, that would be good.
Lovely. What's your superpower?
In real life, or like what I would want?
In real life.
I don't know. I like being around people, and our old neighbours say that I'm very good at bringing people together. So I'll go with that.
Okay, I'd agree with that. Describe your garden in 3 words.
The current garden, Jesus. Dilapidated, wild, and big. Yes, Sarah's doing this at me, big.
I agree, Sarah. Big was the first word that came to my mind too. What was your proudest gardening moment this year?
Well, that's a good question. I think so. I managed to get all my plants from all the plants I dug up from the old garden survived, and I took a cutting off my fig tree, which was massive in the old garden, and I love fresh figs. I bought a cutting, the deer ate it, but it's grown back, and I put it in the ground, it's still growing, so that's my proudest moment from last year, yeah.
Awesome. If you could travel in time, would you visit the future or the past?
Probably the future, I think.
Okay. Can I ask why?
I just want to see what the world is like then, I guess, and what's the state of the planet, I guess, and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Who is the most famous person you've ever met, and where did you meet them?
Oh God. I mean, there's a lot of gardening people I've met, but probably the most famous is probably Mary Berry. And after Chelsea, not last year, the year before, I took my mum and dad because my mum's always wanted to go to Chelsea. So this would have been 2023. The NGS had a fundraiser that evening at Kew Gardens and you could buy tickets. And Mary Berry was the big guest speaker because she's the president of the NGS.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but I thought, because it was quite a big event, but in the end, I think there was like 80 to 100 people. So it was quite small, and we were in the glass house in the evening. I can see my dad's commenting now because it turns out he's a fanboy of Mary Berry. I didn't know, but basically, as we walked in, we had the whole of the glass house between, for us, it was in the evening, so queue was shut. I'm using all the time up here now, I realise. Like a brass band, jazz band playing, there was champagne. And I thought she'd come in, give a talk and leave. And as we went in, she walked past me. So she was there at the start. And then my dad and mum and Sarah were putting their coats in like the coat rack thing.
Yeah.
So they didn't see her. And then later on, she walked past when we were drinking, and my dad nearly spat his wine all over the place because she like literally was right next to us. And then later on, we went and chatted to her. I went off a bit later to talk to someone else and came back, and my dad was basically like on one knee because she was sat down chatting to her as if he looked like he was proposing to
Maybe he was.
But she was really, really lovely, and she had a really good sense of humour, and didn't tell us to piss off when
That's a bonus.
Yeah, she was really nice. So that's probably the most famous. I've seen Monty a few times, but first time I saw him, I kind of froze. That was at Chelsea about 10 years ago. And then last year, Luke, the pink gardener, got a picture with him, which I was really jealous of because I'm always a bit scared of approaching Monty. Maybe one day, we'll see.
Oh, really good. You've met a lot of famous people. I'm very impressed that your dad was on one knee though. That with Mary Berry. We're out of time. That's your 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Mary Berry took about 4 minutes.
I was going to say that. It's a good story.
But it was a good story. It was worth it.
Yeah, I've got the picture somewhere. My dad on his one of the photographers from the evening took the picture of my dad on one knee. So I'll send you that later, Kim. It's quite.
Yeah, please do. I want to see it. Oh, that was brilliant. That was good. There you go. You survived.
Yeah.
Your dad survived as well.
From now on for everyone is just talk for 5 minutes on one question.
Top tip from John there.
Yeah. Now I'm a season pro at Live at 5. Yeah.
That's it. He's been on twice and he's already worked out how to bend the rules.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on. But before we go, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about. So we've talked about what you've done, but I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the future as well. So what's in the store for you? And I did want to mention Nick because I know that Nick at Cauliflowers is in your future. Because you have been selected to be a Christmas dinner champion for Nick at Cauliflowers. So you just want to tell us briefly what that entails.
Yeah, so Nick has very kindly offered us the chance to essentially grow our Christmas dinners together as a grow along for this year, which would be interesting because in the old garden I didn't really grow a lot of veg. I did tomatoes and chilies in the greenhouse and melons and other stuff. Melons one year, every other year they failed. So I haven't done proper veg, as you might call it, like sprouts, cauliflower, I guess, carrots, all that stuff for ages. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that and also seeing how everyone else does because we are going to be all doing it together. So that's really exciting, and hopefully we can eat it on Christmas Day.
It's going to be really fun. I'm really excited for it, actually.
Yeah, and yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, like Nick's company, Cauliflowers, they do like loads of different seeds, but her, I think, USP is the fact that there's this kind of huge support for growing your own seeds, and the guides that she supplies are really good. So
yeah, and she also trials everything beforehand, and she really prides herself on her high germination rate as well.
Yeah.
And she grows everything at home in the same way that most gardeners at home would do. So it's not like the big companies that, or when I've spoken to her, she says it's not like the big companies that do the germination trials.
Yeah.
She's trialing it at home in her greenhouse. Her mum is trialing it at home in her greenhouse, in much the same setup that you and I and anyone who's just buying them to grow at home would do, under the same sort of conditions. It's not like lab tests and lab conditions.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we've got lab conditions or lab testing kits and all that stuff. Yeah, and also Nick's really nice, as is her mum Hazel. I've just remembered, they very kindly sent me some free seeds from their own gardens, which I haven't spread on the garden yet, Nick.
Oh, that's lovely. Which seeds can you remember?
Oh God, there was loads. Off the top of my head, I can't know. I've slept since then, Kim.
Lucky you.
It was.
I haven't.
Well, no. But they were like exclusive, the ones that Nick doesn't sell, and so just out there in a mum's garden, which was really nice of them. So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
Well, Nick says wildflower seeds for your meadow.
Yeah, so there's cornflowers and poppies, but I can't remember exactly what else. Like I say, I've slept since then. There was a whole tin of them. And then, got some plant growth stuff to do this year, which is exciting.
Yeah, you've been selected as the plant grow champion.
I know, which is, I feel very lucky because we've got a big garden, so I need compost, which is what I said to them. So, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on some of their stuff because it's really good.
It is really good, yeah. I've used plant growth for a few years now. And as you know, I've done a couple of show gardens with it, and
so
really,
I can't wait to get my hands actually dirty again in soil. My immediate plans have had to kind of, for the garden, are probably going to take another year to come to fruition or to even start. Actually, I kind of in my mind, I have these big plans. I am a bit of a dreamer. Eventually they all should come to fruition, maybe, we'll see, but it might be 20 years until they do.
But one of the things you said to me that absolutely horrified me was you took me out of your front door and showed me your front lawn, which is quite a huge front lawn, as front lawns go, and you said, I'm going to dig all of this up, which is great, and it's wonderful. I mean, it's as dreams go, it's amazing. And he said, I'm just going to turn this is all just going to be herbaceous perennials.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my goodness. Wow. I mean, it's going to look, I could picture it in my head. I mean, fantastic. But wow, wow. Yeah,
so that kind of
I take my hat off to you.
One of my small projects, Kim, I would say.
I know. This is what scares me, John.
So that's one that sadly I don't think I'll get to do this year because if you remember, the edge of the lawn, there's a big retaining wall that needs some attention.
Yeah.
So I've got to fix that first before obviously I can start planting anything.
Exactly, but you know what? First things first, and I firmly believe that, you know what, if you can see it, you will do it.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. It's interesting, in the old garden, I used to like plants in 3s and 5s. I think I said this to Jamie and Mark when I went on their podcast last year. Now it's going to be groups of 9s or 11s, or, you know, and I think to keep the costs down, we're going to have to try and grow a lot either on from plugs or just from seed as well. Yeah. So, yeah, that'd be interesting. And then I've got to deer proof that bit just to keep the deer out of that part. But it's exciting because there's a lot of scope for some trees that I want. Like I love an Acergricium and those, like, even the silver birches and stuff like that. And this space gives there's so much space that I could put 20 Acergriciums in, and not that I'd want to, but there's so
much potential.
Yeah, so that's exciting,
Mm.
and that's kind of keeping me going. And I have to say, the two borders I have done, so the one behind me here that you can't quite see because it's obviously dark, and then the one on the other side of the house, both of those borders were full of laurel when we moved. We took the laurel out, and I've put herbaceous in, and already after the first year, it's, you know, it looks good. So I'm excited to see how that goes this year. Um, yeah. So, and obviously I've got to put my alliums and my tulips in those beds too yet. So yeah, there'll be more structural stuff, more hard landscaping stuff this year. I've got some more trees to take out, sadly, because there's some that have got ash dieback, and
Okay.
there's a sycamore that's right by the house that's got to come down. But again, that'll free up a lot of space for some areas. Will be like kind of shrubs and like a winter garden rather than herbaceous. I can't do everything herbaceous, otherwise I'm going to be outside forever just looking after those and doing nothing else. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the lawn is quite big. You are right there.
It is a large area, but you know what? I mean, you've more than proven that you can do it. I mean, you've done it at Willoughbridge, and I have there's no doubt in your capabilities, and you have the vision, and you have the capability, and you will do it, and you will create. I can't wait to see the vision that's in your head. I can't wait to see you achieve that, and you will achieve it. So,
Mm.
I don't want you to, we're all behind you, and you will
Yeah,
do it. So,
I
yeah, it's going to be
I
fantastic.
can't wait to see the vision that's in my head either. The thing that one of the things I love about gardening is the fact that you can take a vision and turn it into this real thing that's tangible, that you
Yeah,
can see and smell and touch, and you can see that insects love it.
yeah,
That's what I love. One of the things I loved about my old garden was that. I guess the frustrating thing now is that it's just in my head for now, so I have to just keep refining it and keep thinking about it. And I guess that'll keep me going on days when I have to knock walls down. Actually, I enjoy knocking stuff down. It's the rebuilding bits and hoovering up the dust, which is the frustrating part, actually. So,
yeah. But there's already so much joy in your garden. I mean, let's talk about the view.
yeah,
I mean, I think you are becoming Instagram famous for that view. Well, I mean, you're not. Well, maybe you are, but that view is becoming Instagram famous because never in a million years did I dream that the same view can be shown over and over and over again and yet be such a completely different view every single time
yeah,
and be so stunning in so many different ways, in so many different lights, in so many different, with so many different moods. It's incredible.
yeah. We're very lucky. When we came and viewed the house, as you know, the drive is on the back, so you pull in and you can't really see the view. And I do remember walking around the side, and both Sarah and I just went like, "Wow, look at that!" Um, and yeah, like we're very lucky. Like this morning, we open the curtains and we can sit there watching it. The sun. I was actually working away. I missed most of the sunset, but tonight the sunset was really great. Managed to get a quick video of it. But you're right; it changes every day. I don't think it'll get boring,
No,
Kim.
I don't think so either. I mean, I think we sat out the front of your house. We ate some soup. I think Sarah had prepared some soup,
Hmm.
and we sat and ate. We were with Sam, weren't
Yeah,
we, the Happy Place gardener, and my husband, and we just sat enjoying the soup. And in the time it took us to eat this soup, maybe 20-25 minutes, the view had changed maybe 3 or 4 times during the
yeah.
duration, and it was just I won't say I've never experienced anything like it, but it's rare that you experience something as special as that.
Yeah, and I think from memory that day it was like cloudy and then sunny. So I think the sun rays were getting through the clouds at one point, and
Yeah,
yeah, it is beautiful. I mean, and I'm glad that people see that, and I get to share it with them as well.
Yeah.
And hopefully they don't get bored of the view either, because that's one of the only things I can post. But, yeah,
I don't think I'll ever get bored of it. Please don't stop posting it.
I won't. But in a few years, there'll be a nice garden in the foreground as well, hopefully, and then the view to set it off in the back.
There'll be a lovely garden of herbaceous perennials in the foreground.
Yeah. But yeah, we are very lucky, and it's very surreal still, actually. We went for a walk today in the woods, and 12 acres is quite a big space, and some days like today, we walked amongst the trees, and then there's no trees for a bit, and I'm like saying to Sarah, this is a massive space here. Like, it's 3 times my old garden in one little area, just full of bracken and brambles. So yeah, it's a bit mad, but here we are, and we are loving it overall, I would say.
Good. I'm glad. I'm really, really thrilled for both of you.
Thanks. We're not moving again, because that was such a pain in the ass to move.
I'm pleased to hear it after all the work you've put in.
Yeah, we're stuck here now forever. So I've just seen Dan says hi as well. So hope you're all right, Dan. I think he's just joined the chat later on. Yeah, so exciting times ahead. Let's see what happens this year. I'm hopefully going to go to some shows as well and see what inspiration we can get from there. And yeah, it should be a good year, I think. I just hope the weather's better. Last year the weather was pretty pants for most of the year.
It was a bizarre year, wasn't it? It was a difficult year for growing as well. So hopefully this year's going to be better. We've had a funny couple of years, and the year before was very dry, and then this year was very wet and not very sunny.
Yeah.
So hopefully this year's going to be just right.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me, John. It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Thanks for having me.
Right.
It's been a pleasure always, yeah.
Okay, and I look forward to seeing everything that transpires for you and Sarah for the coming months and the rest of 2025. And yeah, speak to you soon.
Thanks, Kim. Here's to a good 2025, eh?
Absolutely. All right, take care, guys. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, bye.
If you enjoyed listening to this episode of Life for 5, you can also listen to the multitude of other episodes to delight your gardening fancy. You can also view them on Instagram by searching for @DahliaFarmerama. Special thanks to Mark @GardenerRiddler for producing this episode of Life for 5 by working his technical magic.